One thing in trading that is not talked about enough, and I'm going to start harping on it big time, is your risk management. So on QuantCrawler, I have a risk to reward calculator built that essentially tells you if you're risking X to make X, your win rate needs to be X in order to be break even. And if you are a break even day trader, you are actually doing better than you think, even though it may not feel that way because you're not seeing the bank account go up or your trade account go up or anything like that. But you're doing better than 95% of people if you're breaking even, because most day traders fail. And they fail over and over and over again until they eventually figure it out or they give up. So I'm over here on quantcrawler.com under tools. I have 30 calculators built out that you can mess around with. I don't think a lot of people remember that because I built these in the very beginning when QuantCrawler was becoming a thing. But I still reference this often. A lot of times after a while, you just kind of mentally start to remember these. But we're going to start very basics. If you have a 1-to-1 risk to reward ratio, which means when you go into a trade, if you're risking $50 to make $50, your win rate in order to break even, of course, this is excluding commissions, so you may be slightly under, you need 50%, right? If you're risking $50 to make $50, you have a 50% win rate, your break even slightly under with commissions. So this isn't a crazy high win rate that you have to try to achieve. Is what you really have to try to achieve is this section. The actual win rate portion is not actually that hard in trading. It's that sometimes you'll make $1,000, then sometimes you'll lose $2,000, and then you'll make 500 back, and then you'll lose 800. And so the risk to reward is never consistent. So mentally, when you're trading, it's hard to keep track of all this. So one thing I was talking about in our Discord the other night is that if you have a 1-to-2 risk to reward, meaning you're risking $50 for the opportunity to make $100, 1-to-2 risk to reward, you only need to have a win rate of 33.333 carried percentage in order to be a break even trader. At 34%, technically, you are a positive day trader. Now, no one's bragging about this right here. Let me actually update this. If you're risking $50 a trade and you have a 34% win rate, but you have a consistent 1-to-2 risk to reward, you're making $100. No one's bragging about this figure. The only thing people are going to brag about is I made $30,000 this month or whatever. I don't care what people brag about. It's just your risk to reward is really what you should brag about. If you have like 1-to-5, you're loaded. If you consistently get a 1-to-5, you could have a 15% win rate on a 1-to-5 and be profitable. You only have to win 15 out of 100 trades at that point. So the reason that I'm breaking this down is because don't focus so much on, oh, I have an 80% win rate, I have a 90% win rate, whatever it is. You need to focus on the risk to reward ratio. Now, I want to kick over and show you why I'm even bringing this up, because I want to show you the QuantCrawler signal strategy and why this risk to reward is important. So right here, I'm on our best preset, MNQ 5-minute. I'm on the 5-minute time frame. I'm on the MNQ chart. And this is what the last 365 days on this strategy looks like. It has an 83.46% win rate over the last 365 days and 387 trades. But these are small wins with big losses sprinkled in. So you're basically stacking quick scalp wins. And that's the intent. That's how I built this, because this is how I wanted to trade. It actually has a negative RR. I'm risking 1 to make 0.5, but I'm essentially banking on the fact that I'm going to have more small wins than big losses. So when you know this and you come back over to the win rate calculator that I have, and you slam this down to the bottom on the risk to reward, you're risking 1 to make 0.5. You can see if I don't change this at a 34% win rate, I am losing a substantial amount of money. But if we look at our actual statistics over the last 365 days with an 83% win rate, let me plug that in. So this is a lot better. At an 83% win rate, even though I have a negative RR, I'm profitable on one contract over 100 trades, 1,225. Now, let's come back. In this one, there's 387 trades. So I then can plug in 387, and you can see risking, if it was a flat $50, I would be positive $4,725. I am essentially a very profitable trader at that point. Now, this isn't going to impress a lot of people when I harp on risk management and then run a negative RR, but the point is to show you this. As long as this strategy maintains a 67% win rate or higher, this is a break even strategy. It's the exact equivalent of running a 1 to 2 risk to reward with a 34% win rate. I'm getting the exact same numbers essentially, minus commissions and slippage and things like that. I'm probably going to be negative. I am honest about that. I'm probably going to be negative at a 67% win rate when you factor in fees. But operating like this with a negative RR is no different than operating with a 1 to 2 and a 34% win rate. So now that's looking at the 5 minute time frame. Let's just real quick look at the 4 minute time frame that we have in here as well. So MNQ 4 minute, we will select that from the drop down and come over to the 4 minute time frame. And now, like I told you in the beginning, the 5 minute is by far the best preset, but our second best right here is MNQ 4 minute. And you can see over the last 365 days, 6,543 on the P&L for a 75.86% win rate and a profit factor of 1.396. This also is operating at a 1 to 0.5 RR. So when we plug this in over 613 trades, we will go 613. And then I am going to give myself the benefit here. I'm going to round this up to 76 since my calculator can't do the micro percentages. So I'm going to give myself about 0.2, 0.4 there, whatever it is. And you can see at this scale with this profit factor rounded up, the 0.14 actually it is, to 76% and a negative RR. At 76%, I am a profitable day trader over 613 trades, assuming I'm risking $50 a trade. Now, this one is just like the other one we looked at. It's getting borderline at 67%, which it's very close. It's not far off at 76%. We have about 9%. If this goes on a losing streak, I technically am losing money if I ran this long term and that maintained if it doesn't rebound. But even at a 67% win rate, I am still, let's call it a break-even trader, even though I've alluded to it. I'm acknowledging it. With commissions and slippage, I would be negative at this point. I know that. But at 68% or even 69%, I would be profitable. So the point of this is if you have a high win rate, but you have a horrible risk to reward, or you don't have a structured system you work off of, you don't truly know if you're a break-even trader. If some trades you make a 1 to 6 because that's great, and then some you make a 1 to 0.1 because you scalp $20 and you exit. Whatever the scenario is, if you don't know what your risk to reward is, I don't know how in your head you can say, I'm a profitable day trader, because I bet you go in vicious cycles. Maybe you pass 5 evals and you get a payout and then you lose all those funded. And then you pass 5 evals, you get 2 payouts and then you lose them. And it's just, if you don't have a risk to reward system that you manage, I don't know how you could stay consistent. So that's, I guess, what I'm preaching here is find what your risk to reward is, find what you're comfortable with, find your numbers, and I know, and everyone watching this video who's running our strategy now knows, if we drop below 67% on our win rate over an extended period of time, we are a losing day trading community if this is all we're running. And I guarantee you, if you actually sit down and look at that, you will be a successful day trader. You might lose some accounts along the way. You might have a really shitty month where you just hate it and you're like, this sucks, I can't do it. But if you know your numbers and you stay consistent, and eventually it's going to click and you're just going to figure it out. You're going to have a brand new career that you are going to love, and you're going to be consistent, and you're going to be able to live a life that you always tell people you want to live. You just are putting in the work right now to figure it out. If you need a win rate calculator, you can just Google it and find one. Or if you're a QuantCrawler member or want to try this out, it's free for 30 days. Go to quantcrawler.com/tools, sign up, and you can actually get access to every single one of these calculators that are in here. We have risk management calculators. We have technical analysis calculators, futures, forex, investment, crypto, and general. This whole tab is free for 30 days. Actually, the whole platform except automation is free for 30 days once you get logged in and register.